Let's kick things off with one of the most amazing and positive stories involving a billionaire. You know how most billionaires only seem to want to get more and more and more billions so that I guess they can afford the new iPhone? Well, it turns out not every super rich person thinks like that.
In an extraordinary act of charity, the founder of the outdoor gear and clothing brand Patagonia has given away his $3 billion company. Ownership has now been transferred to a specially created trust that is going to use any profits not reinvested in the business to fight climate change. That's expected to be roughly $100 million a year. 83-year-old Yvonne Chouinard, who started Patagonia roughly a half century ago, said, quote, "We are making Earth our only shareholder."
Wow! The founder of Patagonia decided being a billionaire was too much balling for any one person, and so he's decided to give all the money away. Which, when you think about it, is actually the most baller move of all time, huh? Yeah, because who's more of a baller? The person who has $1 billion or the person who literally uses their $1 billion to make it rain? That's what he's doing, because the Earth is going through a drought. He saw what happened in California. He's like, I'm going to make it rain. And who would have thought that a billionaire could give away his money to help the planet instead of trying to escape it in a penis rocket? I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know, but apparently you can. And if I'm the Earth, this is great news for me. Because, I mean, yeah, pollution is killing me, but now I'm rich enough to stunt on other planets? Where's your private jet, Pluto? Are you even a planet anymore? Bam, bitch! I will say it's going to be a little bit awkward for Yvonne Chouinard's kids when they try and explain why they didn't inherit their dad's billions. You know, it's like, so did your father give you the money? It's like, no, he gave it to a polar bear. It's like, damn, you probably suck. Now, if we had more time, we could talk about how the founder of Patagonia is showing us that you can still be super rich and not be a billionaire. And he's showing that hypercapitalism isn't the only way a business can run, and it can still be successful, and it can still make money, and it can contribute as much as it gets. But we don't have the time to talk about all of that, because while the owner of Patagonia is trying to be the Earth's biggest advocate, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is trying to be the Earth's biggest dick.
Now to that dramatic and controversial twist in the battle over immigration overnight. The governor of Florida taking credit for sending at least 2 planes filled with migrants to the wealthy Massachusetts island of Martha's Vineyard.
The planes carried 50 migrants from Venezuela. The island community was given no heads up about it. All they did was see some planes and a bunch of people come off. The group arrived with children and some elderly family members, all of whom could not speak English. The community, though, banded together. They helped them. They set them up in a nearby church overnight.
Now, what's truly bizarre about the situation is all of these immigrants came from Texas, and it appears only the planes were provided by Florida specifically to bring them here.
You know, there's assholes, and then there's this guy. No, but because, you know, sometimes, you know, someone is so terrible, the word asshole doesn't quite capture their essence enough, you know? Yeah, because everyone is an asshole. Like, my neighbor's an asshole, you know? Drivers in traffic are assholes. Hell, I'm an asshole. But Ron DeSantis, he's like the little edges, the little ridges around the asshole that really catch all the shit. And because I can't show you that on TV, here's a picture of a star-nosed mole so you know exactly what I'm trying to say. Like those little... Because here's the thing, remember, Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida. So why is he grabbing refugees in Texas and shipping them to Massachusetts, huh? Why? So he can prove that America's immigration system is broken? Yeah, everyone knows that. But instead of pushing lawmakers to actually reform the system, he's using taxpayer money to what, go viral? Because this is what he wants to do, right? And this is what gets to me. If you told DeSantis to spend the same amount of money helping these asylum seekers, he'd be like, oh, we don't have the funding for that. But to troll the Democrats, suddenly he's like, put it on my card, yeah. And by the way, America actually has a history of doing this. Yeah, in the 1960s, racist organizations in the South shipped black people up to northern states to make liberals uncomfortable. But Ron DeSantis obviously doesn't know about that because the pages in his history books were torn out in his state. So I get it. Now, if we had more time, we could delve into a long history of how American lawmakers are all too happy to pour tons of resources into destabilizing Central and South American countries. But when the effects of that destabilization are felt in America, suddenly they don't have the money to pay for the consequences of their actions. But we don't have the time to get into that because while American lawmakers are arguing about what's happening at land borders, Americans on the internet are at war about what's happening under the sea.
The new trailer for the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid already has more than 100 million views. while it's got a lot of fans, it is also being attacked by some internet trolls.
Actress Halle Bailey stars as Ariel in Disney's new live-action film, and she looks nothing like the animated Little Mermaid with red hair from the original 1989 classic. The trailer has received more than 1.5 million dislikes on YouTube. Then there are the ugly, racist tweets. The Little Mermaid is white, not black.
Really, people? We're doing this again? Huh? She looks nothing like they both have the tail, huh? They both have the red. She looks nothing like her. How do I even know that she's a mermaid? Once again, a bunch of internet racists are upset that a fictional character is being played by a black person. And honestly, I don't know what the big deal is. You guys realize that Nemo was black too, right? Yeah, that whole movie was about a fish who can't find his dad. Yeah. Calm down, calm down. I can say that because my dad left and he's white, so who's racist now? This is so ridiculous. First of all, of course, the Little Mermaid is black, all right? Everyone whose name starts with Lil is black. Lil Wayne, Lil Nas X, Lil Kim. Honestly, if you heard that there was a woman named Little Mermaid, you just assume that she's on a track with Cardi B, you know? With my wet ass flippers. So look, stop being ridiculous. It's imaginary. You know, I hope this scandal doesn't overshadow the rest of the movie. The Little Mermaid is a beautiful story about a young woman changing her core identity to please a man. Let's not forget about that, people. And look, if we had more time, we could talk about how Disney already created a black mermaid 30 years ago and nobody cared. Or how there's still plenty of white princesses for little girls whose dream it is to be in a monarchy. And let's not forget, you can still watch the original Little Mermaid. It's not like if you try to turn it on, Mickey's gonna jump out of the screen and be like, "You're racist, ha ha!" But we don't have time for that. Because racism isn't just on Twitter. It turns out it's also ruining the NBA.
This evening, the major headline out of the NBA, they have now suspended Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury owner Robert Sarver for a year. They have fined him $10 million after a nearly year-long investigation that detailed inappropriate behavior during his 18 years with the team.
The league says Sarver, whose teams are mostly black, repeated the N-word 5 times, bullied employees, and sent pornographic material, including a video, to staffers.
Sarver also allegedly made jokes frequently to employees in large and small settings about sex and sex-related anatomy.
Whew. They say this guy was using the N-word, he was bullying people, and there was sexual harassment. That's a triple-double in HR violations. I mean, how do you justify sending porn to your employees? What are you doing? Huh? What's the rationale? Just being like, do you see that gangbang video that I emailed you? Well, that's the kind of teamwork I want to see on the court tonight, people. Come on, get out there. Now, to be fair, Sarver wasn't calling black people the N-word, all right? He was just allegedly repeating black people's use of the N-word and then complaining about why he couldn't say it, but they could. But he was saying it. So he isn't necessarily racist, but he's definitely a moron. And here's what I don't get. If you're someone who wants to walk around saying the N-word, then pretty much the worst place in the world for you is the NBA. It's like, I love saying the N-word and I hate the sound of squeaky shoes. Well, my man, you chose the wrong field. Now, if we had more time, we could talk about whether or not a 1-year suspension is enough of a punishment for what this owner has done. Because if you can't learn in 5 minutes that you shouldn't be saying the N-word, and I'm not sure that a year is going to help, but we don't have the time for that. Because while the NBA is dealing with one bad owner, there's a scandal in the chess world right now that is shaking the entire sport.
A cheating scandal is rocking the world of chess like never before. After world chess champion Magnus Carlsen recently lost a match to young up-and-comer Hans Niemann, Carlsen abruptly quit the tournament and then posted a cryptic tweet that many interpreted as an accusation that Niemann had cheated. Since then, speculation has run wild about how Niemann could have cheated, with some people suggesting that some kind of wearable vibrating device could have been feeding him moves.
A world champion has never withdrawn from a chess tournament before this in the history of the game of chess. So it's really unprecedented.
Yeah, you're damn right, this is unprecedented. A chess grandmaster might have been cheating? That is disgusting! The game of chess is sacred. It's an ancient game of skill and strategy with the little horses that you play with. L-shape. Now, even though lots of people are accusing Niemann of cheating, nobody can say exactly how he did it. Although, you may have heard them say vibrating. Yeah, the one theory which the internet is running wild with, is that he used vibrating anal beads to tell him what moves to make. Which I know sounds nuts, but I get why someone would use vibrating anal beads to cheat, you know, because even if you lose, you still kind of win, you know? And let us be clear, there is absolutely no place for sex toys in the game of chess. Except for the pawns and the bishop, if you nasty.